It's Tuesday. It's 7:30, which means it's time for Live with Simone.
Hey everybody! Do I look like the dog lady here? Just telling Eddie. I have two puppies on my lap. The new addition. I don't know if you can see here. This is Chloe. She's under Mocha. Mocha wouldn't have it. Only Chloe on my lap. So, but anyways, good evening, everybody, and I think this is the part where we are going to. I know that in a past shows we had people ask questions throughout the part, like the live show, and we had some questions that were done beforehand. So tonight we're gonna do a little different. So if you guys want to start sending some questions, and I'll answer the best that I can. And then meanwhile, I'm gonna give you a little update on a few things. But first and foremost, today is Lucy's birthday, Lucy Kovalova, and I haven't had time to talk to her today, but I want to wish her live here a happy birthday, and hopefully I'll talk to her before the night ends. So, but anyway, uh, one of the things that I know, especially with social media, that and that is totally not me. As far as showing, only the good side and all of that, because life is not all flowers and easy.
Yeah.
But of course there are some things that I don't want to post a photo of or share. But for those of you that follow me, I want to make sure that you understand that I am not in any shape or form saying that my life is always wonderful and it's pickleball and my doggies and everything is good with the kids. My update is that last week, not only with the new puppy, you're gonna get not only with the new puppy, potty training and all of that, even though she's a really good puppy. Alexis, unfortunately, who has a lot of skin problems, skin issues, uh, got touched some poison ivy. And we never had that with like an encounter with poison ivy. She has had some other skin issues, but that was the first, and that was pretty scary. So I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Her face, because she wears glasses, so she touched the poison ivy, and I guess like in Florida is a big, like it's everywhere, and I had no idea. Nothing happened overnight. It was like, I think Tuesday when she woke up, it was pretty bad. And then on Tuesday when she woke up, it was pretty bad. She came back from school and I was like, Dallin, what is this? And I mean, her lip was swollen, her face was swollen, but it wasn't that bad. But then Wednesday morning was horrific. I mean, sorry, just a second. I gotta let a dog out. Hi, mom.
This is insight into the real life of Simone.
Yep, that's everyday life. So the one thing that I'm telling you, like, it was 3 days of complete despair. This kid, to see your kid. So to shout out to all the moms out there, because that was the first where I felt really terrible. I had to be the tough mom, like doing treatment on her face, and she's like having major breakdowns, and it's like a lot. Oh gosh, it was pretty stressful. But she has been really good about using her medication and doing all that. And now she went, like, yesterday, actually Monday, she went back to school. and her face is almost back to normal. But I'm telling you, it was, between Alexa's and then the puppy, not a whole lot of sleep. And then of course I had a camp going on as well, and which everything went great. I'm so thankful. Huge shout out to Phil Metz and Becky Ryan and Brandon Long and May Brown for their help, because of course without them, my camps are no bueno. So I'm really lucky and really grateful for all the support system that we have. Chad and I have been so lucky since we've come here, because there's always something. I mean, when you're talking about kids, you never know what will happen, but that was the first. So yeah, so that was kind of that was the full mom job there. That when I can't imagine moms that when their kids get like really sick, what it feels like. So very, very stressful. So but anyway, of course, I've been also training I've been doing a lot of physiotherapy. It's been amazing. I'm starting to turn a corner, thankfully. I just feel very lucky, again, because I think 3 months ago, I can't imagine that I would be where I am now. And I'll be sharing some stuff that I've been doing for PT, because I understand that hamstring tears are one of the hardest ones to recover from. And the main reason that, the more I learn is, again, I'm not an expert on this, but I understand that the main reason why recovering from a hamstring tear is because there's no blood flow, like very little blood flow in that area. So I've been super disciplined and I'm back playing. And I know y'all gonna call me crazy, because I know I am. But today I played 4 games, like 4 full games.
Wow.
With CJ Klinger, and he kicked my butt, but I loved every second of it. I love practicing with the kid. He moves so well, covers the whole court, much better than me. But I was able to play 4 games with very, no pain really, just kind of still a little hesitant, to move. But my goal is to be able to play the US Open. This would be my last US Open. So I want to play singles. I want to see what happens. And that is on Sunday, the first day. And then I would have, 4 days to rest and then get ready for women's doubles on Friday and mixed doubles on Saturday. So, and my partners for that are Lauren Stratman. It's the first time that we're going to play together in a tournament. We've played together before, but it wasn't an event. It wasn't in like a full tournament. And I'm playing mixed doubles with Ben. That was one of the tournaments that we had scheduled together. So I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I'm still a few weeks away, which is good, because I need all of those days. And then also an exciting thing, Morgan Evans and I have always been really great friends, and maybe the Australian background, I don't know. We get along really well, and so he's actually going to be helping me for getting ready for the US Open, and he'll actually be in town a week before to help me tune up and get ready. So I'm really excited. I honestly, I haven't been this excited about getting on the court and playing in a long time. And I think is in a way is like, when talking about, this being my last year, I think that's where I want to finish the best way that I can. I don't want to just like, I feel like mentally I am in the best place that I've been in a while, and physically I'm getting close. I'm like super close to being where I want to be. So I am ecstatic. So yeah, and again, I think in the past when so many things go wrong in the sense of my personal life, it's like, okay, it's not that bad. I know the kids are doing fine. I have all of these doggies, and life is good, and I have great friends. So yeah, and then with that, I do have a tournament before the US Open and another new partnership for the APP in South Carolina. I'm playing with none other than Lee Whitwell. So I'm excited for that. Another partner to add to my list of new partners this year. And then for mixed doubles, I'm playing with JW again. So yeah, so I don't know. It's been fun to play with different people. Usually you just play against them, and now I get to be next to them on the court. So yeah, so
I'm
that's kind
excited to
of.
check that out. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like. I feel like each weekend I have somebody new to play with, and for my personality, is been quite interesting because usually I like to know what I'm doing way ahead of time. I plan everything out, and I think with the injury and a few other things in my life, I kind of like, you know what? I can't continue to. This is not working, evidently. So I kind of just playing day by day in so many different ways, and I think it has helped. Just I don't know. I feel more relaxed. I'm not, I'm probably saving my teeth, not grinding, grinding my teeth at night so much. I don't know. It's a good place to be for sure.
That's great. So physically,
Oh.
if you were at a 10 before you went and got physical therapy and stuff like that, like where do you think you're at now?
So from like 1 to 10, I would say that the beginning of last year is when, because it's funny because I was talking to Morgan about that, and I was like, just kind of looking at video of my past and like more when I wasn't so great. And I would say that the best that I was moving and feeling on the court was at the beginning of last year. And then towards, I think it was like end of March, beginning of April, I think I overdid where I was playing a lot of singles, way too much. I was playing singles like in almost well, I was playing singles in every tournament that I was playing. So I know, I think because I was feeling like I was moving well, and I was running like a maniac as I always have. I overdid it, and maybe I already had a few minor tears here and there. I know my hip has been a long time that I've had this injury, but it never bothered me to that point where then I think I changed the way I was moving, which then again I ended up injuring other parts of my body. And that's how the body responds, I guess, to when you have to overcompensate for something. So, yeah, I've learned a lot about myself and kind of how I want to go about it moving forward. And I think it has been very helpful, kind of not planning too far ahead, just kind of staying in the moment. Okay, this is what I can do right now. This is the plan for the next few weeks, and then from then on, then whatever happens, if I get a partner, I get a partner. If I don't, I don't. And I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. And I think it's so fun to see you with all these different partners too, and see the matchups. And I love the fact that you actually helped get JW out of his comfort zone a little bit, to the point where he even cracked a joke during the interview at, what was that, at Delray, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, that was
He's
great.
full of jokes these days, but I do believe that is not. It's really not. I think it's comfortable with me, but
Yeah.
I know this been playing a lot with Lee, and and when I play against them, I can tell that she is. she's saying something that is definitely influencing him to kind of listen up. I mean, I do believe that he plays best. Like first time I played with him last year in Hilton Head, he played amazing and played great. And I think that that was kind of my goal at that point, was to get him to be smiling and be loose, so that way he would feel comfortable moving around. And so yeah, I mean, I think Lee has definitely brought that out of him, and yeah, I think he's getting comfortable and confident. And yeah, he was. I mean, he was pretty funny. I was like, "You're full of jokes here," but there are so many little things that happen also that was great. And I think him and Dylan. People think that him and Dylan are like all of these two quiet boys, and they are not. Especially when you get them together, I think like they choose much more wisely than I do. When they talk, they will say something pretty funny, pretty clever, which is great. It's not, I mean, I've had a lot of fun so far this year with everybody that I played with. So it's been awesome.
That's great. What else is great here is we've had a lot of questions already come in here. So do you want to jump into them? Any other announcements or updates before we do it?
Yeah. I know that we have Chanel has posted a bunch of videos that we've done, and then she's coming again into town on Friday, and we're gonna shoot some more. And then I know that Eddie, you've got a few fun videos that you'll be posting here soon.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully we can get together and do some more. I want to get some videos with with Brandon. I don't think we really haven't done anything with him, so that would be fun. We've been doing a group on Wednesdays together, and also the Nike camps, and of course we play quite a bit together. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting on the court again and doing some more videos.
That'd be great. And if you guys have any suggestions for videos that you want to see, don't hesitate to reach out, because we want to make sure the content is relevant and fun and educational as well. Yeah, and another thing I do want to mention is we are going to be giving away another paddle. We are going to be announcing the winner from the last live stream at the end of the show. So if you shared last live stream, which was 4 weeks ago, stick around, because we're going to be announcing the winner from that paddle giveaway at the end of the show. And then I think we're also going to be giving away another paddle, because you've won a couple golds since our live stream.
I know, and then we did one. It's perfect because tomorrow I have some time to go to the post office, so I will mail those out tomorrow.
That's right. And for the paddle giveaway for tonight's episode, we will be announcing the winner at the end of this episode. And how you qualify for it is by asking a question. And I'm just going to pick what I think is the best question. So if you guys know me a little bit, maybe you can tailor your question a little bit to something that you think would stick out to me. But I think that'll be fun, and another great opportunity to win another paddle, because Simone keeps just racking up these gold medals here.
That's good. I'll take it.
That's great. Well, why don't we go ahead and jump into our questions here? And again, tonight's Q&A is live, so if you want your question to be asked, you can post it in the comments down here on either Facebook or YouTube. I'm checking both of them. The first question is just kind of looks like a strategy question from Tracy Brown Robinson. And Tracy asks, how do you slow down a fast-driven shot?
Oh, that is pretty clever and pretty funny, in the sense that this morning I actually worked with a few of my clients up there. And my theory on this is that you should not slow down a drive. It's very difficult, and often people talk about how you wanna play a softer game with people that hit the ball hard. Let's call them the bangers. So the one thing that I think from my experience is that the best approach to that is actually try to hit a volley to back deep, without backswing, just using the pace of the drive and going right back at them. Often, like when people drive, they will come forward and they get inside of the court. If you try to slow it down, and if they're true, like somebody who can hit the ball hard, the next shot is going to come just as hard. They won't really dink with you. So that's one way to think about. If they are somebody who they are going to come in and maybe do a fifth shot drop, the hardest one is keeping it to their feet as close. So that, let's say they drive and they come in, a fifth shot drop from their toes is pretty difficult. So instead of slowing down, think of just using their pace and just putting it right back to their feet and make it difficult. Now, there's another part also that comes with that is if they are going to drive the next ball, like the fifth shot, and if you do a good job hitting a volley, a solid volley, right at their feet, often the next ball tends to fly out, but we have a tendency to hit that ball. Just because the ball is coming at us and it's coming pretty fast and pretty hard. But often when they get inside of the court, and if they are swinging at the same way that they were swinging at the third, most likely that ball will go out, especially if it's flat or a slice hard. That ball tends to sail and not come back down. Now, there's a difference on the slowing down, like for example, like a reset. That would be more of when you are all at the kitchen. That's when you would want, like, especially if you are on the worst side of that rally, like let's say they got a ball that they can attack either a little down, or maybe they are attacking below your waist, and now if you counter, you are more likely to get in trouble. That's when I would recommend like doing a reset. And for that, it's really the paddle movement is minimum. And I think like we do have a video on that where the best exercise is to actually work on softening your hands and making your hands a lot smaller. It's the catch and release, like that comes, from getting used to just letting the paddle out in front and letting the ball just come to the paddle. That's a very difficult like skill to have to develop, but I mean, it's doable. It's just that you gotta practice kind of just absorbing the pace to the paddle.
That's great. Great stuff here. Thank you. Next question is from Doug M on YouTube. And Doug says, I'm a shorter player, 5'2". Do you suggest when returning serve to stay off the kitchen line by a few feet to prevent a lob? Or should you still try to get right up to the kitchen line?
So, and Doug, this is a great question. It's just that it's very relative. So it depends on the kind of return that you give. So if you can keep your return nice and low with a bit of slice and speed, it's much harder for them to lob. I often find that the lobbing of the third is easier when the ball comes a little slower, a little loopier, and they got plenty of time that they can do pretty much anything. They can lob, they can drive, they can drop. So consider your return determining whether you should be, getting all the way up there or not. The other part of it is also know your audience, your opponent. So if your opponent, I would start off by getting to the line first and foremost. So if they start to lob you, let's say they do it once and then do it twice, then maybe that's when you make the adjustment. But don't start off giving more kitchen than you should. But again, it's kind of, test it out first and then see what happens.
I like it. Here's a question from Fleetop Mogu on YouTube. And they say, I'm recently a new 4.0 player and I regularly play with 3.5 players. I have a hard time convincing players that they need to play I'm sorry, they need to learn to play in the transition zone. So I don't know that it came across as a statement, but I'm assuming maybe they're looking for ways to convince their players that don't want to make it up to the NVZ that they should get up there.
Yeah, so I mean, we cover that a lot when we do clinics and camps and all that. Is that it's not. It's also tough because often that gets a little bit confusing for players. They think that they when they get told get up here, get up here, get up here, like constantly, they think that it's one stop. It's from the kit from the no matter what kind of ball that they send, that they gotta get from the baseline to the kitchen, and that is often honestly is what they get away with and what they can't. The better players that they play, I mean, ultimately you gotta punish that, as they charge up to the kitchen line. You just got to make sure that you keep punishing that player, so then that way they learn. Unfortunately, they learn more the hard way versus you trying to show them. Often, if I play with somebody who, like, let's say I'm teaching a lesson and we're playing points and they are just charging up to the net, often I will make sure that they kind of like watch out, like kind of like let them know that my third wasn't really perfect, that being up there, it's not really beneficial for us. So this is where I think communicating with your partner, especially opponents, you kind of let them know by the shot that you hit. Like if you get a third that is a little higher and their partner just comes in right away, you gotta hit a tough volley right at them, so that way they know, wait, why am I getting punished? And kind of knowing that they need to stop before the ball gets hit from their opponent. But as a partner, I think the best way is kind of to over communicate. Just say, wait, don't just go. And I'm not at the level where I can hit a perfect third shot drop every time. So kind of, communicating with your partner.
That's great. Here we have a question from Dennis Weinman on YouTube. And Dennis says, "Hi, I like to squat while dinking. Is this okay, or should I be just be bending? I'm 5'7" tall. I am a 3.5 player."
I mean, I think as long as he's not stuck, like most players are squatting, but the chest is up. It's just got to be careful that you're not squatting and getting yourself in a position where you have no lateral movement. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes people squat and they get their feet very far apart, and then they have a hard time moving laterally. So absolutely. I mean, if you look at the best players, most of the time they're squatting, but however, they are still mobile at the kitchen on a lateral movement wise.
That's good. Kathy Hicks on Facebook asks, "What kind of cross-training routines do you recommend outside of pickleball?"
So, I mean, I've done everything you can think of, but I also overdone it. But I think the more especially with rehab and everything that I've done, I think because of there's so many things, I'm not an expert on this, and there's so many factors, I guess. So depending on the age and like pre-existing things like knee issues or just strengthening wise, I think that I've gone to adding weight to now just doing body weight and more repetition. So that has helped me tremendously. So you got to figure it out. And I mean, my best recommendation is to actually maybe even go to a trainer and get some advice there, just to see what's best for them individually. If they need to, there's so many different things. When it comes to pickleball, you have to have, flexibility, but also strength. And you don't want to go. I don't believe that you want to go too heavy. And then, of course, like if you are talking about, knee issues, that comes from sometimes like doing lunges and doing squats, like with weights. So, but I highly recommend checking with somebody to see what, and when it comes to pickleball, maybe your trainer doesn't specifically know pickleball, but it's very similar to what you do with tennis and racquetball, pretty much any racket sport, because you have lateral movement and forward movement. So you need to be like fast twitch, but also because you have the kitchen part of it, the aspect of it, you have to also have strength, like lower body and core strength.
Kathy also had a follow-up statement. It says, your puppy needs to learn to relax, too stressed. I got to say, I'm impressed with how great she's being there.
She's always like that. So when she's on my lap, like she just falls asleep. It's amazing. And I mean, she's been really good. Can you make sure that Molly, I think she wants to go outside.
You should show them her trick.
Oh no, not tonight.
But it's cool.
I know. Yeah, so she's been an incredible puppy. It's been really good.
That's great. Here's a question that I get a chuckle out of, and this is from Wait For It on YouTube, and they ask, I thought Phil was your coach.
Yeah. I know that they probably been to or they watch our videos and then at camp usually that's his he talks about that.
Yeah, he always mentions that he taught you everything you know. So
absolutely,
the one and only Phil Metz. Here's an interesting question here from Robert Luke on Facebook, and this is pretty direct. He asks, if you end up playing Anna Bright and Georgia Johnson again, what would you do different?
I mean, played Anna, not with Georgia. It was with Regina. We played them in my goodness, Delray.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in mixed doubles as well. And I think honestly, I would say that the first time that we played them, I wasn't expecting I was surprised because some of the balls that they were driving, like at the kitchen, I think that it was more like got caught off guard, thinking like there's no way that these balls are staying in, and they were. So I think that the second time playing, it was like hit everything, be ready for everything, and be ready for the speed up. And often it's just, get your paddle up and be ready, because most likely it's not going to be a dink. Very, very rarely is a dink off of that. So I think that was the biggest adjustment, is just really expect that that's what's going to happen. And if a dink comes, it's not, it's in a way easier. So that's kind of what, as far as playing Anna alone, was the adjustment.
That's good. Here's a question from Kathy Haincheck on Facebook. And I think she's referring to stacking here, but she asks, I noticed pros give a hand signal to their partner. Are there set plays in pickleball? And if so, where can you find them?
No, so the signal is for the switch. So it's not a set play. It's more for, so like the partner that is at the kitchen is usually giving an open hand. That means that we're going to switch. A closed hand means that we're gonna stay. And then some people like also the fake, which these are signals from tennis. So that's the, if I can do it. So that's like, this is means I'm going to pretend that I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna come back to, to my spot. So that's not really a set play. As far as like signal for set plays, there is no such a thing. But sometimes it's more talked about, not so much a signal is where to return or who to return to. That's talked about, because with pickleball it's pretty easy because you're so close to your partner.
That's great. This next question here, you kind of touched on a little bit earlier, but I know when I play open play, this is something that I struggle with a little bit here. And this is from Doug M on YouTube. And Doug asks, do you have any strategy for how to position yourself when you have a partner that doesn't move up to the non-volley zone after they return serve?
I mean, honestly, like at this point, I would position myself as close to the middle as possible. You want to intercept that ball. You may get burned down the line, but like I'm guessing for the return of serve. Yeah, that's right. So often if I don't feel the presence of my partner, I'm going to step towards the middle of the court, because if the ball gets through to my partner, most likely they will pop it up and then I'm going to eat it anyways. So at this point, you're better off just kind of trying to help out and take that first ball. So that way it gives them the time to get all the way to the line.
That's good. Here's a question from Kathy Gaspard on Facebook. And Kathy asks, are the first 4 shots the most important shots of each volley?
So, the first 4 shots, the most important shots of each volley. I'm guessing each rally.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm guessing. So,
yep.
Kathy, if you can just clarify, but I'm guessing it's for each rally. And this is yes and no. So depending on the level that you play, absolutely. So if you go up higher, then is more. It's beyond that. But for sure, like the first 4 shots dictate how the point is going to go. I think especially at the 3-5 to 4-5 level, because of the choices that are made on the on the 3rd and the 4th shot. But as it gets higher level, often it's beyond that. It's more about like how you kind of put together the point versus how to execute those first 4 shots, because at a higher level you already know what you're doing on those first few shots.
Got another question here from James Nakagawa on YouTube. And James asked, what grip do you use for serve, drives, third shots, and dinks? Semi-Western and Continental? Do you use semi-Eastern with your two-handed backhand?
So I'm semi. I switch. I never really let go of my tennis grips. My handle is actually pretty close to my tennis handle, so which makes it a little easier to shift. So on my serve, I will go semi. So it's set for like my forehand. There are times that I will switch right away to a continental, which then I will be doing more like a slice or flatter drop. If I'm doing a top spin drive or a top spin lob or a top spin drop, then I stay with the semi-Western. And then to switch to my backhand, I have my right hand that goes a little bit more to the continental side. But then dinking and volleys is definitely I go continental unless I have plenty of time to shift my grip a little bit and do a top spin volley, but a top spin dink. But if I don't, then I just stay with a continental.
Gotcha. And do you teach that way too, or would you recommend somebody who might be, let's say 3-5 to 4-0, pick one grip like a continental and stick with it?
So usually I go depending on the student. So some students have already coming from, depending on the sport that they come from, they already have that switch, that grip. So often it's more of, and also is it working for them? Can they go past the level they are now with the grip that they have, or switching the grips, or whichever way they are kind of holding the paddle, unless there's something completely off, which usually is on the back end side, when they are volleying with the knuckles. That's really the only time that I'm more adamant about grip switch.
That makes sense. Man, these questions are just absolutely incredible, guys. Keep them coming, and we're going to do our best to try and get through as many of them as we can. Here's a question from George Munther on Facebook, and George asks, my friend and I always laugh when we hit an outball. We say, see ball, hit ball. How can we mentally prepare not to do that and let it go?
So, often it is a mentality of see ball, hit ball. I think that if you know your opponents are people that hit, no matter what ball they get, no matter where the ball is, they are going to be one speed and one speed only. I think the mentality needs to be there where you are just going to get out of the way. See what happens. If let's say they drive the first one, they get inside of the court, and now they're doing the same exact swing, take a huge back swing, and they're inside of the court. Now they're closer. And granted, this is not easy because they're closer to you, so your reaction time is going to be much shorter. So that's why, to me, is make that adjustment more mentally than anything, because you got to think now, okay, once they get inside of the court, if I hit a good volley to their feet, I'm just going to get out of the way. I'm just going to let the ball go. So often is kind of shifting the mentality more than okay, I'm going to wait if the ball comes this way, or the ball does this, or the ball does that. Think more of reading that earlier. Does that make sense? You're already making that decision once you sent the kind of volley that you sent and where they are on the court. So it's not like you're waiting for the ball to come to you.
No, I like that. And I remember when I first started to focus on this, when I was making an effort, I would say, hey, 2 out of 10 might land in, but just get comfortable with letting balls go, knowing that 80% of the time they're going to land out. Is that something you might recommend?
Yes, and you just gotta get used to letting some go, because when George is talking about see ball, hit ball, the mentality at this point is to hit everything that comes his way. So he will have to change his mentality.
That's great. That's some solid advice right there. I like that. Laurel Heilman on Facebook asks, have you mastered the one-handed flick toss yet for your serve? If so, please share and demo the secret.
So Morgan has been wanting me to do a slow-mo of my flick serve. Today when I was playing, started in the warm-up, it was pretty windy. And I was gonna ask CJ's dad there to take a video of me, like a slow-mo video of the flick serve, but it was all over the place. I was chasing that ball like no other, so I felt like it was not worth it, because it was just gonna annoy me that I probably wouldn't even put a serve in. But mastering I am far from it. My hand is still sore because I've been practicing just literally like doing the flick. And so my fingers are sore, my hand is sore, and I honestly feel pretty frustrated in the sense that, like, am I not am I not going to get this? It's quite possible that I will not get it. So, and again, if it doesn't, it doesn't, but I'm not giving up on it. It's just that I'm going to probably let the soreness go before I start doing it again.
I like it. It's a tough serve. That's for sure.
Well, for me, the toughest part has been actually getting the ball, like to actually get the toss to be. So I if I get the spin, like get the ball spinning, the problem is that now the ball is either coming into my body, then I adjust by tossing it a little bit straighter arm. Now I'm chasing it inside of the court. So it's an illegal serve anyways, because I'm going to be stepping in. So yeah, I just kind of feel like I'm taking baby steps on this. But again, the when I kind of started, I couldn't even get the flick. I mean, there was no movement on the ball whatsoever. It was just a slow rotation that didn't do anything. But now at least I'm getting the rotation. Now I just gotta find a way to actually like get the ball to stay somewhere where I can serve.
Yeah, that's the trick. Otherwise, you'll be calling a timeout because you'll be longer than 10 seconds before you even get the serve off.
Absolutely, because then one toss comes here, then the other one goes there, and then it's like, okay, just stop. But again, like I said, it was just really windy at the beginning, and well, all through the practice, and it was just like, holy moly, the day, because I have so many other things that I need to work on, that I was like, I'm just gonna let go for today and then get back to it tomorrow. Plus my middle finger is super sore. And maybe because it's doing more work than it should, maybe I need to get the thumb to do more of the work.
Yeah, that's interesting. We got a question here from Glil White, I believe, on Facebook. And they ask, have you some advice as the best time to use the lob?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is a few things that I look for when using a lob. There is the number one is if your opponents like you test one out, and if your opponents are not like vertically they are challenged in that aspect, or they don't have a good overhead, or they push off and get called full faults, and or they go back to do the overhead and then they don't really get back in, which generates a bigger hole. I think that is first. I'm looking more so situational with my opponent, and then I do like from the kitchen. I like doing it more so when I feel that is going to put me on offense right away. Opponents being a little too far forward, leaning in too much. That's usually a really good strategy because they're taking so many balls out of the air. Then they are leaning in more and more. So then it's harder for them to get back and go get it. So that's kind of like often is so much to do with your opponent than because you can be feeling great about your lob and you could be hitting amazing lobs. But if your opponent is doing damage to that amazing lob, then it doesn't matter. It's not a good time to use it. But you can also have a mediocre lob and your opponents be really bad overheads. That's then you're probably gonna want to use more.
That makes sense. Here's a question from Gerald Newsom on Facebook. And Gerald asks, when you see a ball coming across the net that you think will go out, do you tell your partner no or out or something else?
I think I say out. I'm almost certain. And actually, I also got asked that today. The out calls, if it's partner communication, is completely allowed. The out call when it's like too close to the bounce, that is then could like your opponent could definitely be calling distraction because you're calling too close to when it's bouncing. And I've seen people do that, like when they think the ball is going to go out, so then they call when the ball's about to bounce, and then the ball bounces in. It's like, wait a second, like, did you just call that ball out? So there's a difference. Like, partner communication is the ball is coming like right here, and I'm like out, then and then the ball, goes in. I mean, we lose the point. So it's a little different.
That's great. We have a question from Mervat Amin on YouTube, and Mervat asks, how can I get rid of the yips once and for all? I'm tired of it keep coming back.
This one is often to do with the toss, actually. The more I teach, the more I notice that people are trying to kind of play with, like they end up tossing the ball, or they start moving to make changes to their serve. So they will they will try to make adjustments, and then the ball is there, and then the ball is there, and then they take a step then, or they take no step. So I would say try your best to just keep it as simple as possible, because the more you try to move around or do different things, that's the stroke that you can actually control. So meet the pad, let the ball meet the paddle, to keep it simple.
That's great. Here's another really good question. This one is from Mott Music on YouTube, and Mott asks, some instructors stress watching the ball come from the opponent, and others stress watching their paddle. What do you recommend?
I believe that it's gotta be, my sports analogy is always the quarterback. Meaning that you have to be more, I would say, instead of tunnel vision. So if you focus on one thing and one thing only, because the ball, if you only watch the ball, then you're not really knowing their body position or their paddle position. If you only watch the paddle, well, the problem is that people learn to do tricky things like, turn it, or, last second movements, then you're going to get beat by changing direction. So being a little bit more peripheral, like focusing on, definitely you want to watch the ball, but you want to watch the paddle, you want to watch their body. So try to practice looking at as your opponent as a whole.
That's good stuff. Here we have a question from Lawrence Yasner on Facebook, and Lawrence says, hey, Simone, love the content. Your dog is adorable and so well behaved. What breed and how do you keep them so calm?
Well, right now, she is actually chewing on my toes. She's teething. But from from the first day that I got her, I kind of just whenever she's on my lap is it's like calming down time. She usually falls asleep. So it's just kind of a habit that created with her. When she's on the ground, that's playtime. When she's on the lap, it's kind of like you're gonna chill. Pretty much letting her know if she starts going crazy on my lap, I just put her down. That's it. So,
Okay.
and again, I guess now we're this is, I don't know, dog number 15 for me possibly.
And she's a golden doodle, right?
Yeah, she's a golden doodle. Sorry, but she is a mini. So and the reason why I say that is because there are some golden doodles that like she is supposed to not get bigger than like 20 pounds. So she's, I don't know. I never had a poodle actually, or anything mixed with a poodle. But I've always been interested because they are quite smart. And she already like knows so many things. She stands often on her back legs when like when ready for food or a treat or anything. She's standing up on her back legs. None of the other dogs have ever done that. The other is that Charlie fetches, is like loves to fetch balls, and she because Charlie won't share. There's no sharing with her fetching. So then I had to do two. So I have to send one for Charlie and one for her. And Mocha will run with her, but Mocha more like will grab the ball and then she'll run away. But
funny.
yeah, and Molly doesn't like, Molly won't really run. It's running is not her thing.
So it's Charlie, Molly, Mocha, and Chloe.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a lot of, so a couple of C's and a couple of M's.
I like it.
And one thing that I only noticed once I got her is that Chen and I, like, we all four dogs are the same coloring. No. So all of them are like the brownish white. Mocha, who's the only one who is named like coffee. I guess she's got a lot of latte, so she's got a lot of milk on her. She's the whitest one of them. But yeah, so they all like a coffee with milk.
That's great. All right, I think we have time for one more question here. And this is another question from Mervat Amin on YouTube. And they want to know, what's the ratio of training for a 4.0 to playing? So ratio of, I'm assuming they mean like playtime versus drilling.
I think there was no magic number, but I do believe that each person definitely is different. I think that playing alone, unfortunately, it's not going to get you to a 4 or 5 level as quickly as you potentially could if you drill. Also developing, so in order to develop new strokes, new shots, you need to drill, because most people are not going to attempt a new shot during a playtime because they want to win. Everybody's competitive. So if you are trying to learn how to hit a top spin, volley, or a roll, back and roll, for example, that mine didn't get better until I did repetition of it, not in play, because in play then you miss a couple and then you're like, okay, I'm done, I'm not doing it anymore. So I would say that, if you are trying to improve faster, I would definitely practice more than do open play, just because, like I said, like, you're not going to develop new shots during you're gonna stick to doing what you usually do and what you know.
That's great advice. These questions tonight have been absolutely incredible, so thank you guys so much for that. Do you think it's time for us to announce our winner from the last live stream?
There goes the dogs barking.
Yeah. They're getting excited too. All right, so this is from the live stream we had 4 weeks ago, which was the last time we were live. And let's do a quick drum roll. And hopefully she's on and can give us her information right away here. But the winner is Sarah Whitehurst Tate. I think you were tuning in on Facebook. If you want to go ahead and send your information over to Simone via Facebook Messenger. That's probably the easiest way, right?
Yeah, I mean that definitely.
Yeah. So congratulations on that one, Sarah. And Simone, I did pick who I think the winner of tonight's drawing should be. Are you ready for me to announce that?
Absolutely.
All right. So we had a ton of great questions tonight. So this definitely was not an easy one. So I went with the question that I think was probably one that shows that you're really trying to improve your game, but you're not trying to improve your game by getting the best drop shot or knowing how to hold your paddle. You're trying to improve your game by something very simple, and that's learning how to let out balls go out. So the winner of tonight is going to be George Munther. Yay.
Nice.
Congratulations, George. Same, if you want to go ahead and send your information over to Simone, and she will send you out that free paddle, which is really exciting.
Well, first, sorry, I'm watching, making sure that the puppy is not biting.
Oh.
Like, Chad has about 20 cables under there. That's been one thing that I need to watch for, is that she loves cables, and that's the key thing. So I'm like, pay attention to that. But no, Eddie, as usual, I want to say thank you. But I just also, it's been amazing support. Every time I go out to a tournament, now I have tons of people coming up to me and saying, oh my gosh, like, it's so nice to meet you in person, but I feel like I already know you because they've been, following on Facebook or on social media or on YouTube. So it's just been sorry. Gosh, come on, stop.
Do you forget how it's constant supervision when they're puppy?
That multitasking. Yeah. So I think that's been the coolest thing so far. Is just kind of seeing how people have been. So like, that's when you feel like, yes, I'm helping tons of people out there. I think that is so cool. So from afar.
That's awesome. Oh, I forgot one thing, and that is shameless plug time.
Let's go.
Yeah. So as you guys know, Simone and I, we want to keep this content coming to you guys for free. And as you can see, this is incredible content. One way to help support the channel is by supporting us by buying some of this amazing merch. And you can get a shirt like this. You can get a coffee mug like this. There's a bunch of different designs. This hoodie is still my favorite hoodie. I love this thing. It's so soft. Guys, seriously, if you want to help us out, that's the best way to do it. You can go to simonejardim.store, and you can use coupon code Simone10 for 10% out for your order. And if you guys have any recommendations for additional merch, please let us know. Somebody asked for visors. Unfortunately, the company that we go through doesn't have visors yet, but I did reach out to them to see if they add it, and they did say it's on the list of new items they want to add. So if you guys want a phone case, if you want an AirPods case, whatever you want, leggings, whatever, let us know. We can definitely make that happen, and we really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and good night to everyone. I can't believe it's April, and it's going to fly by. So we'll be in touch, and hopefully, if it works out, we'll be on again next week. But be in the lookout for a bunch of new content coming, and excited for the future.
We'll see you guys next week.